There are great mountain climbers, and then there is Alex Lowe, the best of our time. Those that knew him say in another era he might have been Marco Polo or traveled with Lewis and Clark. Few of his achievements could be repeated. He seemed invincible.
To picture an avalanche coming from 6,000 feet up and a couple hundred yards across is awe-inspiring.
Part of the fascination and the allure is that you enter this environment that is far greater than any one of us, but there are elements we can't control.
You don't outrun and you don't live through Himalayan scale avalanches.
The mountains are bigger than any of us, and what happened to him was a random act of nature.
October 5, 1999. A vast avalanche high in the Himalayas takes an American expedition by surprise, killing 29-year-old David Bridges, the expedition's cameraman and a two-time U.S. paragliding champion. Also dead in the avalanche was the Invincible man, Alex Lowe.
It was an immediate sense of like a wall coming up of, oh my God, I know that's not true.
My first reaction was that I wasn't surprised. I knew the likelihood of having to deal with this event someday.
I don't think I can say the very words that I said when I heard the news.
Did I think it was going to happen in the sense that I, was sure he was going to get killed? No. But did I think about ever having to deal with this? Yeah.
He was zooming towards the future, so full of energy, and so it's hard to imagine he's not coming back.
By age 40, Lowe had climbed mountains in every corner of the globe. The more rugged and brutal, the better. He did Everest twice. In Wyoming's Tetons, he crossed 7 peaks in less than 9 hours. He blazed new routes through mountains from the Himalayas to Peru. So many ascents, he no longer kept count.
I think the real challenge for mankind is to do things you've never done before, but to base the courage on past experience. Go slowly and, build experience slowly and very broadly, and then take a step into the unknown.
I was hugely disappointed the first time I met Alex Lowe because he came with this huge reputation, and I went to see a lecture that he gave, and it was the worst lecture I'd ever seen in my life. The pictures were terrible, he was inarticulate, and I thought, how come this guy is so famous?
To begin with, he was famed for his strength. He was so strong that some called him the mutant. Up at 3 in the morning to run and ski, he did 400 pull-ups a day.
Describing Alex as driven or obsessive isn't even close.
Came in and strictly lifted until he couldn't lift anymore. Well, another one in the bag. I'm out of here.
Somebody said that if you bring Alex on a climb, it's cheating, and they're right, because Alex is just superhuman. It's like using super glue or something like that.
Actually, hang on right there a sec. I got an idea. I'm gonna get Western here.
He does it in perfect style, and then he'll drag you up behind him. It's like he's dancing up the rocks.
Oh, yeah. Bomber. Just what the doctor ordered. Rodeo 8 climbing.
But it is not triumph that tests true character. It is adversity. June 9, 1995, Mount McKinley, Alaska. A storm traps 2 Spanish climbers high on the mountain. An Army helicopter takes off on a rescue mission. It carries Alex Lowe, Scott Bakkeys, and Mark TWIGHT. To reach the climbers, the chopper must touch down at a higher altitude than ever before, more than 19,000 feet. Alex, Scott, and Mark must ascend a wall of ice and snow to reach the stranded climbers, now trapped on a narrow ledge.
The guy was just sitting there waiting for the angels.
The temperatures were about 40 degrees below zero or so. And when Alex had discovered this guy, had these mittens that didn't fit, and his hands were all frostbitten. Alex gave him his mittens. And I remember the sinking feeling when he finally fell down and just started writhing. And I think we actually said something out loud like, this guy's not going to make it.
To save them, Alex, Scott, and Mark must get the climbers back up 400 feet to the waiting chopper.
The one that was really bad off, we kept yelling at him in Spanish, Familia, La Casa, trying to let him think about his family, his home. Alex looked at us and said, oh, we can get him up. We'll get all these guys. We're not leaving anyone behind. And Dwight and I were like, well, how are we going to do that? And Alex said, I'll carry him.
A photograph captures Alex working his way up the mountain with a frozen, injured climber on his back.
Alex just carried this guy, and it was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. I mean, you know, we were kind of counting on, okay, they're going to collapse and we'll tie the hook to their harnesses and drag them along the snow, you know, whatever it takes. It never occurred to us that, you know, some human being was strong enough to actually pick this guy up at this point and carry him.
They finally reach the helicopter and get the two men on board.
Alex is just a notch above, doing stuff that basically no one else could do.
You know, he's the guy who comes along once every 100 years and sort of shakes things up.
When the going got tough, you wanted Alex around. But even he had limits.
I don't see myself as a risk taker. I see myself as a risk controller. And basically, I like to go out and put myself into potentially risky situations, but in a very conservative and cautious manner.
He was driven by challenge.
When you remove all the risk and you remove all the challenge, and you remove all the challenge, I think you wither on the vine.
His growing fame followed him home to Bozeman, Montana.
Around here, Alex was a celebrity, often admired from afar. There goes Alex. There goes Alex Lowe. That's Alex Lowe.
The town of Bozeman holds Alex in awe. I mean, but he's the kind of guy that you meet at the post office.
Lowe was lucky. With the help of corporate sponsors, he made his living doing what he loved most. But it came at a personal cost.
Max and Sam and Isaac, they go everywhere with me.
I think they're colder than we are now.
I know. Because this was the day I left or day before I left Bozeman.
Christmas Day, I brought a little Santa Claus hat, and Alex's family sent all these little presents for Alex from home, and cute little notes, and we brought a Christmas tree.
Merry Christmas, Dad. We're all thinking of you on this special day and missing you. We send our love with this card.
And everything in life is sort of a give and take situation. It's a compromise. And, you know, I pay a price, my family pays a price for what I do. And yet, we know the price we're paying, and we are willing to do it.
One thing I can tell you is he loved his kids, and he loved Jenny.
Even though he struggled with how to spend more time at home, he did the best he could. And it wasn't as though he was oblivious or he didn't want to think about it. He wrestled with it constantly.
I relate to the difficulties Alex had balancing his family with his passion, and yet they were both passions for him.
People ask, why do they climb? And I think that if you're as great as Alex was, you just have no choice. You have to.
In the end, on his last ascent, climbing took him forever.
I'll bet 5 seconds before that avalanche cracked loose, Alex was just, this is so wonderful. I am out here, I'm alive, and look at this magnificent landscape, and I'm here with 2 great friends, and my other friends are over there. Life couldn't be better. Boom. And it was over.
You know, we're men, we're macho, we're tough. We barely are able, you know, after our 30s to tell each other we love each other, much less say, hey man, you know, you're a hero to me, and I've learned a lot. I think, you know, if we'd all, you know, lived a little bit longer, it might have been said later, but.
There is something sacred and something spiritual about what Alex did.
I'll miss having the bar be that high.
Y'all have fun? Oh yeah. Okay, check it.
He was a great soul and a spirit and an inspiration to everybody. He didn't have to be the best or that. He was Alex, and we treasure him for being that.